We are going to be looking at some creepy videos, strange and odd news stories, and as always, let's go ahead and get right into today's video. So we're actually going to go ahead and start this video off with this photo right here. This was sent to me by my sister. So my sister was recently in New Jersey and stopped by this gravesite and took a photo of this tombstone. Now this tombstone, it belongs to a friend of the family, and my sister, she sent the photo to her mother to basically say that she was visiting the gravesite. Over the past couple of days of her looking at the photo, she started to notice that something started to appear in it. Now, at first, it wasn't very clear, but like I said, over the past couple of days, it started to become more and more noticeable. Yesterday, when she sent me this photo, she said you can clearly see what looks like a very disturbing face on this tombstone. Matter of fact, she thinks it looks like some kind of demon. I asked her, was there anybody else there with you? And she said no, it was just her and her daughter, and they look nothing like this. And you can definitely see what looks like to be some kind of face. Looks like very sunken in eyes, a nose, you can see an ear, a head, and it looks like it's smiling. I don't know. The bottom half where the mouth is almost gives it like a skeletal appearance. Just by looking at it, it does really give me a very creepy feeling. She also says that right below it, you can see some type of long nails or long claws attached to it. I don't know, but like I said, I can definitely see what looks like to be a face. But like I said, she said it wasn't there at first, but then it started to slowly appear in the photo. But talking about eerie pictures, this next video comes from Beck Snapped, and she said ever since she brought this painting home, her dog has been reacting to it. Georgia was definitely being a good girl and telling her, I don't like this painting, there's something wrong with it, get it out of here. But Beck Snap, she goes ahead and brings her husband into the home.
Okay, so you guys that are following along, here's how it all started. I bought her first. Did not realize her husband was sitting in the same Etsy store. So after she shipped, the shop owner messages me and is like, hey, I have her husband in my storefront too. And I figured maybe that's why my dog Georgia was barking at her. She was miserable without him, so I doubled down and bought him too. Or maybe I made her extra miserable by bringing him home.
Poor Georgia, I feel so bad for that dog. She's trying to alert her owner that there's something evil, there's something wrong about that painting. So what does the owner do? She doubles down and buys the husband, the painting of the husband. I mean... Look, that dog is in for a big surprise when it walks into that living room. This next creepy video comes from Kyle Anthony, and he said for some time, him and his family have been hearing noises inside their home, and they finally tracked the source of this noise.
All right, we woke up to the banging sound outside of our bedroom again. It sounded like it was coming from outside, yet again, but I think I know where it's coming from, so I'm gonna show you. Right there. I think it's coming from there. Something is banging on that. It's happened, it happened last night, it happened 2 nights ago. That's our bedroom window right there. I hope there's nothing trapped in there, raccoon, I don't know. But it's been freaking us out, waking us up. So we're gonna take a look. Goodness gracious. See right far down there. Let me see if my light helps. I can't see all the way to the end, but I don't see anything. And that goes around a corner. I don't know if I can even fit between the blocks and that pipe, but I guess we're gonna have to take a look in there. Just saw the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. Watch this. That looks like a person. Sorta. I screenshotted part of it and like brightened the image and stuff. It looks so freaky. Is there a person under my crawl space? Is there some like hidden tunnel where they're getting access to it somehow without opening it? There's nothing else on the camera. There's nobody going in. I don't know. I don't know what to think.
Now, I can't really say if that's a person or not that he caught on camera, but there has been instances time and time again where people will hear things around their home and they'll think their home is haunted, and all the while somebody will actually be living inside their home unbeknownst to them. And given the fact that that is not very secure, anybody can gain access to that and go inside. It kind of reminds me of that movie Barbarian. This next segment is not only disturbing, but it kind of reminds me of that scene from Jeepers Creepers where all the bodies were strung up along the wall.
I am the CBI director. Thank you for all being here today. I'm here to speak about a deeply disturbing and tragic situation involving the Davis Mortuary here in Pueblo. This is a day no one wants to see.
Reading this article from KDFW Ford News, these investigators, they smelled a very strong odor coming from this funeral home. So they went ahead and investigated, and the strong odor led police to 20 bodies found behind a hidden door at this Colorado funeral home. First off, the inspectors knew something was up when the owner and the Pueblo County coroner, Brian Cotter, asked the inspectors not to go into the room. These families, they were taking their deceased loved ones to this funeral home to get them cremated. They were getting the ashes in return, but come to find out, the ashes were not the remains of their loved ones. They were dirt or anything but their remains. This was going back 15 years. 15 years, people. Continue to read the article. It says the AP noted that Cotter told inspectors that some of the bodies had been waiting for cremation for 15 years, according to the document from state regulators. That explained why the state suspended the mortuary's registration. The article goes on to say that Cotter has not been arrested, and Pueblo County District Attorney told the AP no charges have been filed as the investigation continues. According to the AP, Cotter and his brother Chris bought Davis Mortuary in 1989, per the company's website. The site states that the brothers brought with them an old school way of operating that they learned from their father, who owned and operated funeral homes in Colorado, Kansas, and Nebraska. But my question happens to be, why has he not been arrested yet? 20 bodies found, some of them going back 15 years, and there are some family members confirming instead of the family members' ashes, what they were given inside the urn was just dirt. People don't realize who a lot of these people who hold on to these bodies inside these funeral homes are connected to. The rabbit hole runs very deep. We're talking about big players on the black market and so forth. Even sometimes the so-called power that be has their hands inside these funeral homes. Now, I'm not saying that all funeral homes are doing this. There are definitely some legit funeral homes out there, but time and time again, we'll get news stories where family members, they will get an urn thinking it's their loved one's ashes, but come to find out it's just dirt, and their loved one, their bodies, are either waiting inside the funeral home or being sold on the black market for multiple purposes. Matter of fact, the article ends with just that. It goes on to say, have there been similar incidents like this in Colorado? Just in Colorado alone, the recent discovery of the decomposed bodies at the Colorado funeral home follows similar incidents reported. In 2022, owners of a funeral home in Grand Junction, Colorado, were convicted of selling body parts and giving clients fake ashes. The AP noted in another case that a woman's body was found in 2024 in the back of a hearse where a Denver funeral home had left it for over a year. About 30 sets of cremated remains were discovered hidden throughout the funeral director's home. Let us also not forget too, not only are they experimenting on these bodies and doing who knows what, Soylent Green is definitely people. This actually gets even worse because outside of Colorado, in Las Vegas about 4 days ago, over 150 bodies were discovered inside this funeral home. Reading this from 8 News Now, the board found the business failed to timely bury or cremate bodies, including one case where a woman was not cremated for almost 11 months, documents said. This video comes from Neon Mom 2.
In my 22 years living in Las Vegas, this might be one of the most disturbing stories I've heard, and it is not getting the attention it deserves, so I'm going to turn up the heat on it. Let's talk about it. The state had to step in and move 146 bodies out of McDermott's funeral home and revoke the funeral director's license and close the place permanently. When you go to their website, it's this man's face that pops up front and center, and yet no one is putting heat on him. To me, this is absolutely disgusting. These weren't bodies sitting there. They were people's family members, and now families who waited so long for their loved ones' remains are left wondering if what they got back is even really theirs. I feel for the funeral home that had to take on the burden of those 146 transfers. That's an enormous amount of work and an emotional toll. And yet, as far as I can see, no criminal charges have been brought up, and that's insane. This story should be everywhere, and I don't know why it isn't. It needs to get national attention. It needs accountability. I follow Lauren, a mortician who does amazing educational work on TikTok and Facebook, and I hope she sees this because the families of Las Vegas deserve answers. This is one of the most disgusting, heartbreaking stories I've ever seen come out of here.
What happens to be even crazier is that something like this happened once before with this same funeral home back in 2021. The board cited McDermott's for a similar delay in service. Like you heard her say, this individual that owns this funeral home and anyone else involved were not arrested. Again, very big players involved. The article continues to say, during one visit, the inspector noted fluids of a body had dripped onto a body on a lower shelf and onto the floor. And this one funeral home now has to take on all these bodies and work on all these bodies, getting with the families and so forth. This next creepy video comes from Clipped Toes, and people are saying that this is a very similar case as to what happened to Elisa Lam, the woman that hid inside a elevator inside the Cecil Hotel, and then I do believe a day later, she was found inside a water tank deceased.
Also, here's video of that girl that posted, and I'm gonna let y'all know now, it gets really weird. It's like she acting like she's running from something or hiding from something, but there's literally nobody else in the front. Like she tweaking.
Yeah, it is weird.
And the elevator door is not even closing. Like she playing hide and seek or something. But look, this ain't even the craziest thing. Like now the elevator, look, the elevator door is closed. This ain't even the craziest thing about this video though. I got like more video to show y'all, and it just gets super weird. So y'all just stay tuned.
So apparently the individuals that are monitoring this footage are security guards, and they don't say the name of this hotel or who this woman happens to be or if she was even found, but the video footage becomes even crazier.
All right, y'all, so I went back and was looking at the video of that girl from the other day, right? Because I'm thinking maybe somebody must be following her because I found that thing in the bathroom. Like, you know, it makes sense that somebody's probably following her, because not just any person is going to have that tool. I mean, that tool is for getting inside of rooms. So just keep watching the screen right here, man. I saw something that just, because I'm thinking somebody's following her.
Watch, let me fast forward. Watch this.
Watch. That's just the housekeeper down there.
See?
Right there. Right there.
I don't know what that
This
was.
is crazy. How do y'all explain that? Somebody explain that to me. And y'all think that's crazy? Keep watching like right by that door right there, by that table. Keep watching right over by there. Whole time I'm thinking somebody following her. So we trying to go over the film and just keep watching. Look. My hand is shaking. Right there.
What is that?
What the heck? Bro, that's a rock from that table right there. Those are stones and those in bowls right there by that table. And that one of them stones just fell on the floor.
And there's no way that should happen because there's no wind in there.
Wind ain't even gonna do that though. This is crazy, yo.
I don't know.
Somebody explain this to me. Somebody explain to me what the hell that just was.
Also, in this very same video clip, the security guard said that you can hear a lot of static and you can also hear a lot of people talking. I played my own captions on this video clip and it definitely does pick up some things. Listen to this. And also pay close attention to the captions as well. So again, that's not their captions, that was mine. And right after you saw the caption say, "In the name of God," you saw that shadow run across the wall. That is very eerie. When it came to that woman seen running on camera, people were asking, are there any updates? And the owner of the channel, which I believe is one of the staff members of this hotel, he said that concierge saw her get into an Uber. So I guess they think she's okay. But at this same hotel, the hotel staff, they go inside this room, and I don't know if this room has anything to do with the woman on the elevator, they never say, but this is what they stumble into.
It's like all my stuff is just left here. It's crazy. You said what?
Don't get me on camera.
No, this is ridiculous. What the heck is this doing in here? Yo, hold on, y'all. Why the f here? Hold this. Yo, y'all. This is crazy.
Oh my God. What? What?
That was the last video. When it comes to this hotel, if there's any more incidents or updates, I'll definitely go ahead and update you all as well. But it seems like the hotel staff are giving their own personal stories of just how haunted this hotel happens to be. And again, none of them named the hotel. This next video comes from the Jody69, and not everything is evil, not everything is demonic. And whatever this happened to be definitely saved this person's life.
Do you believe in guardian angels? Or do you believe in just having good luck? Why do I ask? Because a dash cam video captured the moment a bird stopped a speeding car from flying off of a cliff. You heard what I said. A bird flew in front of a car and stopped it from falling off of a cliff. As a matter of fact, take a look at this video. Check this out. Look at that. Guardian angel in the form of a bird. Why? Look at the road. There's nothing there. There's a cliff right on the other side. So my question to you is that bird a guardian angel? Or did it just fly out at the wrong time, but the right time for the drivers of that vehicle? Because in the end, there was an end of that road and nothing but a cliff on the other side. Take a good look at that for yourself. So I guess my question to you is, was that bird a guardian angel, or was it just perfect timing?
That doesn't even look like the type of bird you would see flying at night, like an owl or a northern mockingbird, something along those lines. And if that is nothing supernatural, then the timing of that is crazy. But going back to very strange sightings, this next video comes from the paranormal chick, and I swear in the beginning of this video, whatever this happens to be, you can see the arms move almost as if it's waving.
Anybody else noticing weird, odd things in the storms that are raging across the world right now? Well, this particular video comes out of Mexico from an Uber driver. They saw something standing on top of a building and have no idea what it is. It's an extremely tall, dark figure. And he was sitting there for a minute waiting for his rider. And the thing never moved, never left. But it's something. Take a look at this, comment below. Tell me what you think this could be.
Somebody asked the exact same question in the comment section of this video. They asked, did it wave? And again, that's what it looked like to me. In this next creepy video, more and more people are seeing ice cream trucks late at night, and more people are following these ice cream trucks and seeing very strange things. Now again, I don't know if there's any truth to these videos. It is the internet, anything we see, we do have to take it with a grain of salt. But this very interesting video does come from Oddities on Elm Street.
Someone on TikTok decided to follow an ice cream truck home late at night, and what they caught was really creepy. I posted this video last week about how so many people were reporting seeing ice cream trucks going through neighborhoods late at night, and how many have suggested that maybe there's a link between the ice cream trucks and the heightened amount of missing children that are now being reported in the state of Virginia. Well, this TikToker in Virginia followed an ice cream truck home, and it seems like something really sinister is happening here. About halfway through the video, you see what appears to be multiple people getting out of the ice cream truck. Some people in the comments believed that these people may be wearing hazmat suits. And then, even more disturbingly, these unidentified people seem to be carrying something that seems pretty heavy, throwing it in the trunk, closing it, and driving away. Now, obviously, the fact that this is all happening so late at night is already a red flag. But what's even more concerning is the fact that the car they're using is missing its license plate. Clearly, something nefarious is taking place here. And while we can't say exactly what is happening, it is crystal clear that the ice cream truck is somehow involved in this entire operation.
This next creepy video comes from Babies YD91.
This might be one of the most chilling photos of anyone ever taken on the Appalachia Trail. This is Geraldine Largay. She was a 66-year-old nurse who decided to hike the Appalachia Trail, but she actually went by the nickname Inchworm. The photo I just showed you was the last known photo of her alive while hiking the Appalachia Trail. She was a very skilled and avid hiker. She had already hiked 950 miles of the Appalachia Trail. She was in Maine at the time of her disappearance and was hiking this portion of the trail alone. Apparently, she walked off the trail a little ways just to use the bathroom, but she wasn't able to find her way back and got lost. She did send a text to her husband at that time, but cell phone signal was really spotty and the text didn't go through. Over the next couple of days, she tried to send more text messages to her husband, letting him know that she was lost, but none of these text messages ever went through. After not hearing from her for a couple of days, her husband reached out to authorities to let them know that his wife was missing, and they deployed a huge search team in search of Geraldine. They searched for weeks and could never find her. Eventually, things started coming up thinking that maybe she had fallen off a cliff, that maybe an animal had gotten her. They weren't really sure what happened. And it wasn't until 2 years later that a contractor running like a forest survey for the U.S. Navy found a flattened tent out in the woods that was located only 2 miles off of the Appalachia Trail. It was discovered to be Geraldine's remains, along with her tent, all of her belongings, and she kept a personal diary that she wrote for 26 days while she survived out in the Appalachia Mountains. Her last entry was basically pleading with whoever found her body to just let her daughter and her husband know where she was found. Only a few of the diary entries have been released to the public. The rest has remained confidential for whatever reason. This story is so sad, but there also seems to be a lot of unexplained things in this story. For one, why have the diary entries not been released? Two, like I said, Geraldine was a very avid hiker, and the fact that she got lost just a couple of miles off the trail is really odd. And then the third thing is, if she was only a couple miles off the trail, why was nobody able to find her until 2 years later? Let me know your thoughts on this story because I have been down a rabbit hole multiple times over this. So I'm very interested to know what you all think happened.
I do find it very weird that it took them all that time to locate her body, even though she wasn't that far from the trail. Did police bring out any sniffer dogs to track her scent? Because, yeah, that's very odd. This video comes from the Paranormal Sleuth. Now again, like with everything on the internet, you have to take it with a grain of salt, but apparently this very eerie clown doll starts to move on its own.
We're getting ready to watch a possessed doll move on its own. This guy received this doll as a gift from his friends. It was about 35 years old, and this thing was known to move by itself. This thing started to show up at different locations, like different rooms, and he noticed subtle movements like with its body. So he decided to put this thing in a chair, as you can see, and just put a camera on it and leave it there for a while. And at normal speed, if you pay attention, you can see its head move up and then back down. So as you're watching this here, you can, if you pay attention, you can see this thing is moving. But here in just a moment, I'm going to speed it up, and you can actually see it does this. Its head moves up and down on its own. This thing, much like Annabelle, is possessed and dangerous. Tell me what you think in the comments. Have a great day. God bless.
The only reason why I'm playing this happens to be because dolls in general, especially antique ones, give me a very creepy feeling, like Robert the Doll, Annabelle. And while we don't know if what we're being shown here is 100% true, the doll itself is still an eerie looking doll. This next video comes from Depths of Despair, and I don't know how anybody can work at a funeral home by themselves, but I guess we have to worry more about the living than the dead.
Sanchez works at a funeral home. A man named Marcio Sanchez works at a funeral home, and recently one of the workers have reported creepy things happening at the facility. Strangely, it all started after a certain body had arrived at the funeral home. Shortly afterwards, Marcio starts experiencing it for himself and makes a video explaining what's been happening.
Pues aquí platicándoles lo que nos está pasando aquí en la FUNE, llegó un cuerpo aquí a pues embalsamar, lo están preparando, ya lo terminaron. Se han estado escuchando cosas raras, se han empezado a ver pues así como sombras, como no sé, algo muy raro que normalmente no pasa aquí, pues está.
A few days later, Marcio was working with his colleague alone in the funeral home when something chilling happens. Watch closely.
Miren, como tenemos rato escuchando ruidos aquí en esta zona. Si vemos, pues está solo y creemos que pues hay algo aquí porque pues se empiezan a mover así como que medio raro. Miren. Miren cómo se mueve, miren. Miren cómo se mueve. No hay nada. Está mi compañero, pero pues si vemos estamos solos.
Suddenly, the coffin begins to move on its own as if someone or something inside was pressing up against the wall, trying to open it and get out. Marcio says there was no draft and nobody else was around that could have caused this. They suspect something else was residing within the recent body that was brought in, and that they are now preparing at the funeral home. On another day, while Marcio is alone, this happens.
Estamos aquí en la funeraria, otra vez, con ruidos raros. Entonces, pues, está solo. Ahora sí, ¿cuál pinche que se ve? Que nada. Estoy solo a la chingada. Estoy solo. A la chingada. A la vez. No mames. A la chingada.
Due to the nature of a funeral home, many people believe they contain negative energy from the bodies that are brought in. But let me know what you think.
And even though I do find it eerie that somebody is working by themselves or with just one other person late at night at a funeral home, it's just the thought that you're around to see bodies. Me personally, I never took funeral homes or graveyards as haunted. Yeah, they hold the bodies, but generally sites where people pass away, like hospitals, I find to be the most haunted and have the most energies. But at the end of the day, thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.